Welcome to this briefing from HDIN Research. We're going to dive right into the critical forces that are reshaping the very foundation of the semiconductor industry. And that is, of course, electronic design automation. We're calling this new era the EDA Singularity.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to kick things off with our main conclusion, right up front. Then, we'll build the case. We'll look at the global market, the geopolitical pressures, China's own growing ecosystem, the massive rise of AI, and then we'll wrap it all up with what it means for you strategically.
Okay, let's dive right in. First up, what exactly is this new industry singularity?
So here it is, our core thesis. We believe the EDA industry is at what we're calling an AI plus physics integration singularity. And this isn't just a buzzword, it's a point of no return. You have to be focusing on companies that are native to 3D IC design and are all in on generative AI automation. This, right here, is the core asset for the next decade, period.
Okay, so to really understand why that's so important, we need to ground ourselves in the current state of play. Let's break down the global market landscape.
Now take a look at these numbers. What immediately jumps out? For me, it's the story happening in Asia. You see the Americas, a very mature market, kind of flat or even slightly down in this quarterly snapshot, but Asia, it's on a whole different trajectory. It's just rocketing up.
And this chart just drives that point home, right? Look at that year-over-year growth for Q3. We're talking about a jump from about $368 million all the way up to almost $488 million. That's some serious expansion, and it tells you that Asia is, without a doubt, the critical region for growth right now.
Okay, but let's zoom in even further. Where is all that Asian growth really coming from? Well, here's the kicker. China. A staggering 56.4% year-over-year growth in Q3. That's a leap from $156 million up to $245 million. It's pretty clear that China is the main engine powering that regional growth we just saw.
But, and this is a big but, all of this incredible growth, it isn't happening in a nice, neat, stable world. No. It's happening right in the middle of some very complex and, frankly, volatile geopolitical headwinds.
Just look at this timeline from mid-2025. It's a perfect example of how fast things can change. You have the U.S. Bureau of Industry and Security telling Synopsys they need a license. Then a few days later, they tell Cadence the same thing. And then, poof, just a few weeks later, they pull it all back. The whiplash for these companies must have been incredible.
And this isn't some abstract political drama. It has real-world consequences. This is a direct quote from a corporate filing. They're saying, point blank, our revenue in China went down because we couldn't deliver our software. It directly hit their bottom line.
So the big takeaway here isn't just about what happened, but what could happen. Yeah, those specific rules were lifted, but the genie is out of the bottle. That ongoing uncertainty is now a major risk factor. It could impact future design starts, business in China. It's this cloud hanging over everything that companies now have to plan for.
And what happens when you have that kind of uncertainty? Well, it acts as a catalyst. It's no surprise that this environment has absolutely accelerated the growth of China's own domestic EDA ecosystem. And now they're not just staying home, they're looking to expand. And we're seeing this in real time. Look at companies like Empyrean and Primarius. They're not just big names in China anymore. Empyrean has a US subsidiary. Primarius has them in the US, Korea, and Singapore. This isn't just dipping a toe in the water. This is a clear signal that they plan to compete globally.
Okay, so let's pivot now. We've talked about the geopolitical side. Now let's get back to that massive technological disruption we started with, the rise of AI-driven design. Because this, right here, is the other huge piece of the puzzle.
So the big question is, how is AI actually automating this incredibly complex process of designing a chip? This diagram from a research paper on something called Auto EDA does a great job of showing it. Think about this. An engineer can just type a request in plain English. The AI, this large language model agent, takes that request and becomes the conductor of the orchestra. It automatically generates all the complex scripts needed to drive the entire design flow, from the initial concept all the way to the final physical layout.
I mean, the difference here is night and day. The old way, it's all manual, super labor-intensive, engineers hunched over keyboards writing custom scripts, which is naturally prone to error. The new way, you're using natural language. The AI generates the scripts. You can iterate way faster. It's a total game changer.
So what are the key innovations that make this possible? Well, frameworks like Auto EDA are really smart.
For one, they get rid of the need to build a custom interface for every single tool. They also work without needing super expensive, specialized fine-tuning of the AI models. Instead, they use these intelligent agents to figure out parameters and break down big tasks. And importantly, they're creating standards to actually measure how good the AI's work is.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. We've got these two massive forces, geopolitics and AI technology. What does this all mean for your strategic outlook?
The way we see it, the EDA industry is at a major inflection point. It's being shaped by two huge forces. On one hand, you've got geopolitical friction that's creating these separate regional ecosystems. On the other hand, you have the tech revolution of AI-driven automation. You absolutely have to look at the market through both of these lenses at the same time.
And that really brings us to the final critical question that we want to leave you with. In this new world, this AI-native EDA world, which companies are actually positioned to win? Because the winners won't just be good at the tech or good at navigating politics. They'll have to be masters of both.